Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and on today's episode, once again, I get to say these words. It's Morphin time, because today we're looking at another Minimates set from Diamond Select of the mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Minimates are a personal favorite of mine, and so are Power Rangers, and it's so cool that they're getting the Minimate treatment. Now, for those of you who don't know much about Minimates and are just watching this because you're a Power Rangers fan, you're going to be in for a treat, because yeah, I've been collecting these things really since they first came out way back a long time ago. Minimates is one of the longest running toy lines that not only Diamond has, but just one of the longest running toy lines, period, right now, going back to, I think, the early aughts, I believe. And they've covered everything from Marvel to DC, to Ghostbusters, to Alien, to Star Trek, to the Muppets, and so many other franchises. They've done so much, and frankly, it's long overdue that they got around to Power Rangers. Now, this set represents Wave 2 of the figures. Wave 1 had our Blue Ranger, our Pink Ranger, our Green Ranger, and Alpha 5. And as for Wave 2, you can already get an idea of who's going to be on it based on this box art, which is the Red Ranger, the White Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, and the Black Ranger. And there's more Minimates on the way, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. First things first, I got to talk to you about this box here, and also give you guys the cool reveal of the figures inside here. But yeah, this is how Minimates are doing their boxes now. They're all in sets of generally 2, but for the most part 4, and they're now using magnetic clasps like this to open up and show you guys the figures inside. So it's a really great way to display this, because you can display it like it's closed up like this, or just as easily pop it open, show it off like this, get signatures if you want to get any signatures from any of the actors involved in the show. Or if you're like me and a very discerning collector and want to get a preview of what you're buying before you do it, this is the way to do it, while also staying pretty classy and pretty cool with that awesome snapping magnetic effect. Plus, you gotta love this box art on the front here. It's like Super Power Rangers, but also this fun cartoon style. It's really great. Now, the sides of the box are where things actually do get a little bit more interesting, because you can see here on one side we have a rundown of all the Rangers in this box, and likewise we have it on the opposite side, but you might notice there's a little bit of a difference, because some of these Rangers were played by multiple actors during the Mighty Morphin days, and in this box set they are in fact all represented. So you're going to be getting alternate heads for the Red Ranger, for the Black Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger to show off all the different actors who portrayed them in MMPR. Now, the back of the box isn't super exciting. It really is just a quick bio about what the Power Rangers are, but you already know that. And just for comparison's sake also, I do want to show you guys a few other packaging styles Minimates have done. I've talked about these in the past. And this right here is what they've done for some of the con exclusives. They've been releasing them in retro VHS style. What I mean by that is you go ahead and see this here. It looks like an old tape you'd rent from Blockbuster or own at your home, but as soon as you slide it open, you'll see that it's actually got a fake VHS tape in there, and on the opposite side, you'll see all the Transformers figures that are in this set. So they did that for G.I. Joe and a few other things. Now, last year at New York Comic Con, the Power Rangers got a similar treatment here, and this time around it was done in the style of a very thick DVD case. And when you open up, you'll see what I mean, because right here on this side, you've got yourself a good old DVD. So obviously this is a lot thicker than a real DVD case, but it's the thought that counts, and it's the execution that matters. And this just makes it so much more fun. And by the way, this is the movie style Rangers here. Awesome set. If you missed out on this, I hope you can find it somewhere, because man, is it worth it. But that's enough about this packaging. Let's go ahead and beam our figures back to the command center and take a closer look at them out of the box. And here we have our Power Ranger Minimates now all lined up and ready for action. So let's do a quick rundown once again of who we have here and give you a better look at each of these figures. So starting over here, we have our White Ranger. We have Tommy looking good. We have our Black Ranger, Zach, ready for action. We've got our Yellow Ranger, Trini. She's looking fine. And finally, we've got Jason over here as the Red Ranger. So yeah, everything looks wonderful here. I mean, there's no complaints. You know, again, I say that a lot of folks out there who watch these videos probably don't know as much about Minimates as I do, and I don't say that disparagingly. It's because I've been a collector for a long time. I haven't always done videos about these guys, but I've been at this game for quite some time, since practically day one. And Minimates have come a long way, but they've always been excellent from the start. And these Power Rangers series are really a testament to how good these toys are and how good they can be. So first things first, let's talk about likenesses. And you guys already saw the heads. I just did that quick rundown here. So the heads are Minimate style, which means that they're very cartoony. They're caricatures of who they're based on, you know, who they're meant to actually be based on, that is. And they're a lot of fun to look at, you know, like Trini here is pretty cool. These are almost like Funko Pops. You know, if you guys like Funko Pops, which I don't, but if you're a fan of Funko Pops and that style of figure, then, you know, you kind of get what they're going for here. And it's kind of this loose caricature that tells you a lot of information without actually really showing you a lot of information. You know, you can tell that's Trini. You saw that that was clearly Jason back there. You know that this is Zach, and over here you can tell that this is our White Ranger, Tommy. And, you know, great head sculpts, really nice. Another fun thing about all these figures too is the interchangeability, which we're going to get into a little bit more as we go on. But I do want to spend some more time first just talking about the uniforms a little bit better and the outfits. Because, you know, Power Rangers are classic, and there's not too much to talk about as far as like missing detail or anything like that. But all the important bits that should be in there are absolutely in there. And, you know, top to bottom, I mean, the designs are very simple, but it's the application of the paint that's great. There's no slop, there's no mess ups along the way. It's all very clean. The one thing, you just headbutted Trini. Jeez, Jason. The one thing you might notice is, you know, by the legs, there is all the copyright information. So that's where that stuff lives. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately. But otherwise, I mean, you know, paint application is very sharp, very clean all around. What's also really fun is you can actually see the morphers on each of them, and it's like clearly defined. It's very nicely painted. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video here, everybody's got some interchangeable parts, and that makes these pretty cool. It makes them extra cool, really. Yeah, so, you know, let's go ahead and let's actually start over here in the middle with our Black Ranger and our Yellow Ranger. And what's important here is, you know, to note that the Mighty Morphins did go through several actors across the years playing the parts. And it's fitting that these toys also honor that by including the heads of our other Black Ranger, which you can see now right here in action. And we have the head of our other Yellow Ranger. We have our Aisha head right here. We have an alternate head for our Red Ranger right here as well. But it's not just the heads that are swappable, although I will do that right now just on Trini. It's not only the heads. Oh, well, actually, yeah, there you go. That's what I was going to show you guys. So Minimates are off the bat very easy to customize because all of the joints can come out, and they can come out very easily. So if you want to do any part swapping, you can. And likewise, if you want to, let's say, you know, maybe you want to take this belt and put it on someone else, you can. These are very modular action figures, which offers a lot of fun if you get any other lines, because there are a whole lot of other lines. I mean, let's not forget, just recently they've been doing Transformers and G.I. Joe. There were some Ninja Turtles as well, so that's even just in the last year, some of the different options you can have. Now, as far as like the heads go, I'll show you a swap, but also what I was trying to show you on Trini is that the hairs come out also. So that's a really fun little thing. And again, more customization for all the figures. But not only that, quite often, a lot of times, the characters will have an alternate head on the back. Now, this is not the case with this series. For whatever reason, they decided to do alternate heads for everybody. But in the past, other lines have included a secondary head, or typically just a different facial expression on the back of their main head sculpt. So again, not the case here, but just wanted to show you guys how that would look. All right, so his head's back on now, but let me pop it off and see if I can show you how the other ones go on. And just a nice simple ball joint, snaps into place, and there you go. Just as easy as that. And by the way, too, just so you guys can see, the articulation is also pretty outstanding. I mean, everything is ball jointed for the most part, with the exception of the wrists. But I mean, you've got some pretty decent playability and some posability with these toys. And they tend to hold their stances pretty well as well. And if they don't, well, don't worry, because Diamond has a solution for you. Because all four figures come with a base. Everybody gets a base, which I love. And again, I've said this in so many videos, I wish more toys these days came with bases, but they don't for whatever reason. But Minimates always make sure to include enough bases for everybody, whatever set that you're buying. And they're really easy to use. All you gotta do is pick your figure up, line them up on the peg holes, squeeze them into place, and just that easy, he's on the base. And for certain lines, they also make different bases that are more action-oriented. So there are some bases out there that you can actually have them kind of like leaping in the air, and we've seen that in some of the Marvel ones. But even as is, I mean, you know, the nice thing about this is now all of a sudden you got him in a nice fighting pose, and he's able to hold that position really, really simply. So I have all four Rangers now on the bases, but we still got more to talk about. So we've already run down the outfit, the articulation, the customization. It's time for us to go into more of the accessories, and the base was just the first of many little things. So you might notice that all of our Rangers currently are in their secret identities. They're exposed, they're out in the open. Well, maybe it's Morphin time for us. They all have their helmets. And here's a Yellow Ranger helmet. The helmets are wonderfully detailed. They look really great and similarly painted really cleanly. Nice job on this. Now, I will say this is kind of one of the downfalls of the figures is quite often what we've seen is once the helmet is on, it's not coming back off. So I'm going to try and see how this works. So at least we'll try and get like one Ranger to get their hair going on here, but let's see if we can do this. I mean, I think that also might be, oh, this feels very tight already. I think that might be why they included other heads, so that this way you actually can have the option of like putting it on another head permanently and using that as like a helmeted head. But I can tell you guys that already feels super firm. I'm very afraid to keep pushing it down. I think you could probably loosen it up just by doing the old hair dryer trick, but I don't know. So let me try and yank this off right now. Let's see if it's any better than the last time we saw these figures. All right, so yeah, like I said, I didn't put it all the way down, so I think that's what we're gonna probably do to show you guys how it looks in everybody. But yeah, the helmets are there. They look great, but that is my singular word of advice about these toys is if you're gonna put those helmets on, you better have a backup plan or something. I mean, if you're real hardcore, I'd suggest just buying some other cheap Minimates somewhere, get some discount Minimates, put heads on those, swap them out, boom, Bob's your uncle, you're gonna have a helmeted head always ready to go. In addition to a helmet for every single character, we also get this nice pile of these things here. I forgot the technical name for them, and you know what? Last time I did this video, I had the exact same problem happen to me. I forgot what the name is for this type of weapon, but it's basically their sidearm, and we have the 3 modes for it as well. So our Red Ranger will take it in dagger or blade mode. There you go, you can see it in his hand right there. We'll give Trini this extended version here, which is like stick mode or something. I don't really know. You Sentai fans, you can educate me on what the things are called. And finally, we'll give gun mode to Zach. All right, got it into Zach's hand. And the trick for the gun mode, I actually had to put it in sideways and then twist it to fit into his hand. So not like it is straight here, I had to put it so that the barrel would be facing the camera lens, and then I twisted it once it was in his hand to fit in that position. So there you go. So all 3 of the Rangers have this with the exception of Tommy, because Tommy doesn't get that, since Tommy has a different weapon. But don't fret, because they all come with additional weapons. Everybody here has their signature weapon. So Trini has her double yellow daggers, Zach has his Black Ranger axe, which turns into a shotgun, which is always the coolest weapon ever. The Red Ranger has his Red Ranger sword, which looks really nice. And Tommy has Saba the saber. So he's got his signature sword and even has a little tiger head on the hilt, which is very cool. And that's actually what goes in his holster. So that's how our Wave 2 looks, but I feel like we're forgetting something. I'm not quite sure what. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. Let's do a reunion with all of our Rangers together. And here we have now assembled Waves 1 and 2 of the Minimates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers all mixed up together, so you can see how everybody looks together as a full-on team. So this is how you're going to get everybody all together. You got to get Wave 1 and you got to get Wave 2. So Wave 1 you're seeing right now coming across the screen. There's Alpha, there's our Pink Ranger Kimberly, there's Billy, our Blue Ranger. We already saw Jason, but finishing up that first wave would be another Tommy. Yep, there's the Green Ranger. So they are all here, they're all assembled, and that officially means that it's Morphin time. Now, by the way, if you did get this wave previously, if you got that first wave, I should say, you also got another very important accessory, which would be the accessory when all the Rangers put their super weapons together to make one Mega Ultra Giant, very powerful weapon. Again, I forget the name of that because it's been a while since I've seen the American version of Power Rangers. But what I'm talking about is this weapon right here, this big guy, which is really cool. It's honestly one of my favorite things. Like, as a kid, I didn't really want a lot of the Power Rangers toys, honestly. I mostly wanted the roleplay stuff like this. This is what I wanted. I wanted the weapons. And yes, if you bought Wave 1, you would have gotten this to go with it. So it's all the things together, ready to go in action mode and to blow up the monsters before Rita supersizes them. So let's do now one final rotation of all the characters while I give you guys my thoughts on both waves right now. And I should add, by the way, this is actually not the end of the Power Rangers line because there's still more to come. Diamond is also doing Minimates, which is their larger size Minimates. They're doing Minimates of the Megazord and the Dragon Zord. And you might also note there's no villains here yet. We actually haven't gotten a Lord Zed or Rita Repulsa, and while there's been no formal announcements now, I would definitely suspect that they're not that far away. So hopefully the line has some more legs, because of course we have a lot more Power Rangers to get through. To be fair, I also don't know if Diamond has the rights to do anything beyond Mighty Morphin, but I hope they do. I hope they can get a chance to do some more of these, because they're really fun. They're really cool, they're wonderful sculpts, great articulation. I love all the accessories. The one downside is those helmets. I wish those helmets were a little bit easier to get on and off, and I don't really know what the solution to that would be, honestly. I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but they are a very tight fit, so again, I do warn you guys, if you're going to use them, be careful. Heat them up as much as you can before you do anything. That's going to be your best shot at making sure they can slide on and off a lot easier, because again, keep in mind, this video was done with my initial thoughts. It's the first time I'm really playing with them in hand, so I haven't had a chance to really work on the helmets yet. But yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys. And if any of you out there have any pro tips for those helmets, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But other than that, great accessories, great paint job, everything across the board is excellent. And the price point's not that bad either. You know, Minimates have gotten a little bit more pricey as time has gone on, but they're not the worst collectible to get. And on top of that, Diamond has done their best to try and keep the price point down. So generally speaking, for the most part, each of these 2 4-packs are going to set you back, as of now, anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks. And that's going to probably go up over time. Honestly, it's not going to go down. It's going to go up because Minimates are the kind of toys where once they're done making them, that's it, they're gone. So I suggest if you like them, you like what you're seeing right now, go ahead and grab them while they last, because the secondary market is not going to be your friend. So if you do like these Minimates and want to get your own Power Rangers in Minimate format, go ahead and check out some of the affiliate links in the description of this video below. You're going to find a few places to pick them up, and if you use any of those links, they support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. So I'm Matthew, this has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching my review of Wave 2 of Diamond Select's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Minimates 4-pack. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of them again in the comments down below. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. More phenomenal.